JPMorgan warns that oil price is about to triple and there will be a huge depression coming. God forbid we won't be able to have any money left over for food. I don't know about you guys, but this is ridiculous. I mean, this is unheard of. Of course, it has been prophesied in the book of Revelation. Now, global oil prices are about to triple under the Biden regime, leading to a devastating depression. This is what JPMorgan and Chase has warned. The price of a barrel of oil now hovers around $111, but the price looks set to triple to a crippling $380 if Russia decides to cut its output, according to JPMorgan Chase warning. Such a dramatic increase in oil costs would cause the entire U.S. economy to grind to a halt. Not only U.S., I would say every Western developed nation is going to grind to a halt. And it's not only that, but how are people supposed to live? Now, it's likely that the government could retaliate by cutting output as a way to inflict pain on the West, says JPMorgan. Of course, the Amish are not going to have a problem with this, right? Because they don't depend on electricity and gas and oil. They have their horse-drawn carts, and they have their wax candles for the lighting at night, and they burn their wood in the fireplace. Now, the tightness of the global oil market is on Russia's side, he says. Daily Mail reports the International Energy Agency, IEA, said Russian crude oil output rose to about 10.55 million barrels a day in May. Despite Western sanctions, Putin's coffers were given a $20 billion boost that month. Surging prices saw Russia generate an extra $1.7 billion compared to April. The IEA further warned the global oil supply could struggle to keep pace with demand in 2023 if sanctions tighten on Russia. The price of a barrel of crude oil currently sits just shy of $120 a barrel, which is almost double the price it was this time last year. Meanwhile, the OPEC oil cartel and allied producing nations decided Thursday to increase production of crude oil, but the amount will likely do little to relieve high prices at the pump and energy-fueled inflation plaguing the global economy. U.S. crude oil prices fell 2.4% on the day, but are still up 42% this year. It comes as the latest numbers show that the average price of a litre of petrol at UK forecourts reaching a new high of 191.4 pence on Thursday, while diesel rose up 199.1 pence. RAC fuel spokesman Simon Williams said the rise of the price of petrol illustrates the biggest retailers' resistance to reduce their pump prices in line with the lower wholesale cost of unleaded. He went on to say rather than passing on some of the savings they're benefiting from, they are clearly banking on the wholesale market moving up again, which is disappointing for drivers who are desperate to see an end to ever-rising prices. Sadly, he says there no longer seems to be any appetite among the big four supermarkets to drive customers into their stores with low pump prices. We question whether we will ever see much competition between supermarkets over fuel again, let alone the so-called price war. The wholesale price includes product cost and fuel duty. The retail price includes product cost, fuel duty, delivery and distribution, retail margin, forecourt costs, and retail profit and VAT tax. Petrol retailers have come in for sharp criticism from a classic example of rocket and feather pricing, with pump prices not mirroring wholesale costs. The concept of rocket and feather pricing for fuel involves retailers quickly hiking pump prices when the cost of oil rises, but being slow to pass on the benefits of decreasing in oil prices, and we all see that. The RAC claims significant reductions in wholesale costs for petrol mean companies have a clear opportunity to stop continuously hiking pump prices, and drivers across Britain have been letting frontline workers know about their feelings towards the retailers' unwarranted price hiking. Jack Cousins, head of road policy at AA, said, with Wimbledon well underway, drivers may be forgiven for borrowing the iconic rant from John McEnroe as they pull up to the pump, "You cannot be serious." They asked yesterday if another fuel duty cut could be on the cards. A spokesperson for Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of UK, highlighted the 5p cut in March, which will, he said, repeatedly call on all retailers to pass on to the consumers. Pressed on the subject, he said, well, as the Chancellor said before, we obviously keep the support we provide to the public under review, and that obviously remains the case. The Competition and Markets Authority launched a short and focused review of fuel prices earlier this month after a request by Business Secretary Kwasi Kwarteng. A 5p per litre reduction in fuel duty implemented by the Treasury in March has not stopped prices from soaring. Retailers hit back at accusations of rocket and feather pricing, claiming to have been unfairly scapegoated for the price rises and arguing that the 5p saving had been passed on. Gordon Balmer, Executive Director of Petrol Retailer Association, said the briefings provided by government spokespeople to the media indicate that ministers do not understand how fuel prices are set. He said, we have contacted the Secretary of State for Business on multiple occasions, offering to meet and explain fuel prices. However, we are yet to receive a response. The furor over petrol pricing has prompted fuel thefts at forecourt, that is the gas stations, to surge up by 61% as drivers struggle to afford spiraling pump prices. Industry bosses revealed the worrying trend yesterday with about 50,000 drive-offs and no means to pay incidents happening monthly across the UK. In other words, they get filled with gas and then they drive off without paying, or others say, I can't pay for the gas. Now, the average value of each fuel theft has surged from £53.28 to £78.19, and Mr. Balmer said that it could cost the industry £25 million a year. He said drive-offs where a motorist fills up and makes no attempt to pay, and people being unable to pay, had collectively surged 61% this year compared with the same period last year. He said in terms of fuel thefts, it's going through the roof. He said we also then have no means to pay incidents when somebody fills up and then they say they have left their wallet or purse at home and can't pay. That comes in at about another £16 million. He said police refuse to deal with the incidents valued at less than £100. This is by Sean Nadeltabatabai on News Punch. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.